Okay, today we're looking at something called midpoint of a line segment. So first we're going to draw a line segment. What's a line segment? Thank you. A line, the segment of a line. So we're going to plot 2 points and connect the dots. So we'll start with 10, 2. Remember, you always read your coordinates x, y. This is point A. And B, 6, 8. So I'll change the color of this. 6. We're reading x, y. 6, 8 is here. Okay, this is point B. And this is also x, y. Okay, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be finding the midpoint of this line segment. What do you think midpoint means? Midpoint. We want to know where the middle of this line is. Okay, so there's actually a formula that we're going to use to figure out where the middle of this line is. What we're actually doing is we're trying to find the average, the middle between the 2 points. So if we look here, well, we want to start with where's halfway between the two x values. So I have x is at 10 and 8, right? Those are the two x values, here and here. And I want to know what's halfway between 10 and 8. How would I calculate that? Half of 10 and 8, halfway between the two. How do you find the average of those two numbers? Good. We add them together. So 10 plus 6. And then why are we dividing by 2? Halfway. Yeah, half of. So 10 plus 6. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. So that means that the middle of this line segment is going to be located at 8 and something, right? Does it look accurate on the graph? Halfway between the 2 points. Now, I didn't draw my line with a ruler, so it might not look as accurate. Sorry, the x values, I should have said this properly, is at 10 and 6, right? So here's 6, here's 10, right? This coordinate is located at 6 and something. This one's located at 10 and something. Halfway between 10 and 6, this is right in the middle, is 8. So it's the first part of the midpoint is located at 8 something. Okay, so halfway between the x values is 8. And what are the two y values? 2, right? 2. This is located at 2 and 8. So we need to know what's halfway between 2 and 8. 2 plus 8 divided by 2 equals 5. Is that true? Look here. Is 5 the middle of 2 and 8? Is it halfway? And this is the midpoint. 8, 5. So what you can use is this formula, the midpoint formula. You're trying to find halfway between the two x coordinates and halfway between the two y coordinates. That will give you the middle of the line segment. Okay, so again, this is x and y, and this is x and y, right? They're coordinates. To distinguish between the two coordinates, I can call this x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. These are the second coordinates and the first coordinates. If I just add, if we use the midpoint formula, if I add, my x values together, so let's do -1 plus 5. I want to know halfway between those 2 points. Divide by 2. What's -1 plus 5? 4 divided by 2. Okay, and then the y values, y1 and y2, we're going to add these together. 3 plus 7 divided by 2 is what? My midpoint should be located at 2 and 5. That's where your midpoint should be located on your graph. Let's graph it and see if it works. So A is at -1, 3. B is at 5, 7. Connect the dots. The midpoint should be located at 2, 5. Here's 2 and 5. Halfway. Is that right? It works. Okay, so on this example, I want you to just find the midpoint of BC. So this is coordinate x, y. We'll call this 1. And the second coordinate of C, x2, y2. I want to know halfway between B and C. No, I'm not asking you. Okay, so what are the coordinates of the midpoint of BC? Yep. So what'd you do to get the x coordinate? Good, 3 plus 7 divided by 2. And the y coordinate? 5 plus negative 3 divided by 2. 3 plus 7 divided by 2. And 1. Good. So the midpoint should be located at 5, 1. Let's check. 5, 1. Oops. This is the midpoint. Okay, so I want you to write that down on your graph. Now we're going to use this information. We're going to find the median, and we'll talk about what that means, from vertex A. Okay, now you're asked to find the median from vertex A. So in this, a median is a line. This is what's important here. It's a line that's drawn from a vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of the opposite side. So we just did the first step. So look back to this triangle here. Everyone look here for a sec. Okay, it's a line drawn from a vertex. So the question says find the median from vertex A. Here's vertex A. It's a line drawn from the vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. Okay, I need to know what this median is. The median is a line. So essentially what we're trying to find is what? How do you write the equation of a line? In the form y equals mx plus b. I need to know what is the equation of this line. Well, you might remember this from grade 9. Do you know coordinate A, where that's located? Where is it located? -3, -1. You now know the midpoint, which is located at 5 and 1. I want to know what's the equation of that line from A to the midpoint. We're trying to find the equation of the median, which is a line. We can use coordinate A and the midpoint. Okay, so to come up with an equation of a line, who remembers this? What are the two things you need to find in order to plug it in for the equation? Slope and y-intercept. We need to know the slope, we need to know the y-intercept. So let's start by finding the slope. Well, we have two coordinates. We have our x1, y1, x2, y2. Who remembers the slope formula? Yeah. Minus y1 over
x2 minus x2.
Good. Plug it in, find the slope. So we have part of the equation of this median. So we know that the slope of the median is 1 over 4. Well, we need to find the y-intercept. We know the slope. Do we know an x and a y of the line? Do we know a coordinate of the line? Yes. We have to find b. We know the slope is 1 over 4. And we're going to use coordinate m of the midpoint because, oops, there's no negatives. It'll be easier to work with. So y is 1. This is a point. X is 5. How do I write 5 as a fraction? 5 over 1, because we're multiplying fractions, right? And now, is it possible to isolate b? Can we solve for b? Okay, solve for b. Forgetting how to multiply fractions. So 1 equals, multiplying fractions, what do we do? Multiply the numerators. 1 times 5. 4 times 1 plus b. I need to isolate for b. Let's make this a fraction, 1 over 1. What do I need to do to isolate b? What do I have to get rid of? I want to get rid of the 5 over 4, so it becomes what on the other side? Negative 5 over 4. Subtract. How do you subtract fractions? What has to be the same? Denominator has to be the same. What's the common denominator? Good. Times by 4. 4 over 4, take away 5 over 4, equals b. What's 4 over 4? Take away 5 over 4. Yep, Ira? -1 over 4. That's it. We got B. Okay? Well, now that you know your M, which was 1 over 4, right? What was B? Negative 1 over 4. What's the equation of the median? What's the equation of that line in the form, in slope-intercept form? Yep. 1 over 4x minus 1 over 4. That's the equation of the median. The median that went from vertex A to the midpoint of the triangle.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.